You've been asking and asking and asking, and that has its own energy resonance. Well, eventually you will receive within the allowance of your vibration. And then comes, of course, it's delivered in a way you did not anticipate. It's delivered in a way that you did not understand it would come. It didn't come exactly the way you were ready to handle it. You were ready to handle the gift, the opportunity for expansion, you see. And what it first represents to most people is the unknown. Should I take the new job? Should I be in this new relationship? Should I have that conversation with my mother? Whatever it is, it's going to push you into that unknown quality. And it's because it's offering you an opportunity to overcome fear. Every time you overcome fear, you create more space for love. The two energies are not congruent. They are in direct opposition to each other. And you can create from fear, indeed many do, and you are witnessing that all the time. But what you can create, the unlimitedness of what you can create from the power of all that is, which you call unconditional love, is beyond the scope of much of what you have allowed yourself to even conceive of, to comprehend. How many of you have comprehended that you actually do have the ability to fly in the air without wings? How many? Right? How many of you have comprehended that you can walk down a street not knowing where anybody stands, but just being able to reach out with your hand indiscriminately and heal? And it took you the time that it took to blink your eye and you moved on. How many of you even allowed for that to even be believed? You see, how many of you allowed that you can have a conversation yourself with infinite intelligence? Infinite intelligence can communicate directly with you. After the first few times, you'll understand what is your thought and what is ours. Most of the time, because it'll surprise you. Also, because when it does happen, more than often, it'll make you laugh because we like to have fun. And I said this before. Infinite intelligence has a lot more fun than you have down here. And yet, you're the ones that are in these delicious bodies. You're the ones that have the five senses of physicality. By definition, you can have 1,000 times more fun than we can have. But more often than not, we are enjoying our existence much more than you all are. And so confidence begins to then resonate from your body. And each time you move into the unknown, ergo, each time you overcome fear. And it doesn't have to be big. They can be small steps, but overcoming. I discussed the importance of actioning. Doing things every day in your present point of power. I have said it doesn't matter who you were yesterday. It doesn't matter who you were an hour ago or what you thought 6 months ago or 10 years ago. Today, right now, is your point of power. It's the only time you ever have to create. Any occupation you have with a past experience or a past issue or a person in your past, unless it is positive and supports your intention to grow and your expectation that you can achieve it, is useless. And so then your actions, which are what? Your actions are thought in motion. So that's important because you're in your physical bodies. Your physical bodies are an instrument that you need to create thoughts to things. Non-physical, moving energy into the physical. So your body needs to get into harmony with the energy of confidence. Your body needs to get into harmony with the energy of your creativity. So you want to create this space for your spontaneous nature to take hold in your reality. You did not come here to do the same thing every day, over and over again, like a robot. You are not a robot. You are an unlimited spiritual, eternal being having a physical experience. You came to mix it up. You came to experience new recipes. You came to create new recipes. You didn't come here to eat the same thing every day. That is not why you're here. But in order for you to allow those opportunities that reflect the truth of your spontaneous nature, you have to allow your vibration to first become more spontaneous, more creative, more confident, more loving, more passionate, more desire, more. You did not come down here with a cap on what that should be. You wanted to go to the highest level of achieving your consciousness, your awareness of the totality of your power in a physical body. You knew you could come down here and walk on water. You knew that. And so we begin. The actions that you take every day must reinforce the intention to expand and the expectation that you will. More often than not, people at this level, within the realm of their expectations, they have doubt. They have doubt. And the doubt is a reflection, a very gentle one, of fear. And so you cannot expect to be able to walk on water if you doubt that you can. It will not happen. So the work then becomes in removing the fears, removing the limiting beliefs. But one of the essential ways you can do this is by the actions that you take every day. This is what's going to give your body the energy of confidence. This is what's going to translate in your mind the energy of confidence, is the practice. So what is something that you ordinarily wouldn't do? Let's say that ordinarily you would never tell a certain person what you really think, because you would be worried about how that would land. And so you keep your thoughts to yourself for the purposes of sparing the other person the discomfort. No, what you are doing is you are denying the other person the opportunity to grow, to meet you where you are. You're also denying yourself the freedom to express yourself, right, wrong, good, or bad. You're denying yourself the opportunity to shed yourself of the morality of right and wrong and good and bad. And please understand that I'm not saying that you should go out and physically harm people. That is not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the moral value judgments of right and wrong and good and bad that cause you to hold yourself back, push your desires down, put your wants to the side for someone else's. That's the value judgments I'm talking about. And so maybe then today, what you should do is practice that. Practice telling people what you think. And feel good when you don't care what the response is. And the more you practice that, the more your brain and your body is going to begin to harmonize with the energies of freedom. Freedom to authentically be yourself in this moment. Because if you can harmonize and be free to be who you are and what you are right now in this moment, regardless of what anyone else might feel or think about it, you're now moving into your authentic power, which is going to give you more opportunities to do so. Actions then become your rungs on your ladder to your ascension here in your physical form. For even in terms of fearlessness, there are some who have shed, we will use numbers that you can understand. Each person then has, let's say, 10 fears. There are some that have shed 2. There are some that have shed 5 fears. There are some that have shed 8 fears. There are some that have shed 9. And with each level of fearlessness, where each of you stand, you are resonating a different vibration. And so then your concerns are going to be reflectively different. And imagine yourself, you are here in your physicality. But let's imagine that the world is simply a big room. And those at the front of the room represent the most fearless of you, the ones of you that have done the most work. But there are, as Abraham says, there is an ebb and flow in your path, which is necessary. The ebb and flow is beautiful and it is necessary. So let us say that at some point you are at the front of the room And for one reason or another, in the natural ebb and flow of your path and journey, you somehow find yourself at the back of the room. Do not be alarmed when that happens, for it will happen to even the most fearless of you, you see. And it has to happen that way because even the most fearless are inviting new events, new people, and new situations into their awareness that's going to challenge them to grow yet another rung, to climb up another rung. So when you experience the ebb and flow of being in the front of the room and then the back of the room, understand that this is a very natural process. Some start to be too harsh on themselves. Now, why am I pointing this out? Even to the fearless, you don't want to do that. When you find yourself, you have been kind of knocked down a couple of rungs and you're at the back of the room, understand that it's simply another opportunity for you to reorganize your beliefs, your thoughts, so that you can ebb and flow back to the front. And that is all that means. And it is important not to be negative with yourself, because even with the most fearless, there is this tendency, what are you doing? You're putting on those old shoes again, and you're still human, even though you are relatively fearless. You don't want to put on those old shoes. You want to say, okay, that happened, and embrace it and then move forward from it. It's only those that kind of get stuck and lost in the ebb and flow of the moving, of being able to tell where they are in their evolution and their expansion. It is more important for you to understand it's your response that matters, not where you are. It is always your cognitive response to every moment of the reality that you're creating. Now, what I'm saying seems like it's a lot of work. And why? Because most of you are kind of lazy with your thoughts. You have these thoughts and they're there so often you don't even know that they're there. And so the moment you start to feel a negative emotion, understand that, that's good, that happened. There's obviously something still there I need to clean up, which is perfectly fine. It's what I came here to do. Best of all, it means I'm going to go up yet another rung on this ladder and get even closer to my goal of being the highest powerful version of myself, vibrating in this body.